Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we'll be doing part 2. Hopefully finishing up this game of Velikiye Luki, Stalingrad of the North, from Legion Wargames, designed by Michael Taylor. And we are starting turn 5, as you can see from this marker, which is why I slid the map up. The map is down here. If you did not watch part 1, I would highly suggest doing so, because I'm not planning on kind of recapping anything or going over the rules as much as I did in the first part, in the hopes of making this move relatively quicker. I moved the map also in hopes of keeping the autofocus working. There was some issues with it in part 1, so if you did watch that and noticed that, and I'm sure you did, then I apologize. Okay, so right now the Germans have 3 victory points. The Soviets have 2. Soviets gain victory points by eliminating German units. As you can see, there are 2 eliminated German units in the eliminated units box, and there is 1 Soviet unit in the Soviet box. So you may wonder, how do the Germans have more victory points? They get a victory point for each step loss the Soviets suffer, while the Soviets get 1 for every unit that the Germans, every German unit that is eliminated. Several German units are actually multi-step, or probably more than several. Some units are 1 step, but many of them are 2 steps, and if it's a 2-step unit, then it takes 2 hits to eliminate it. So it's basically the Soviets get, essentially, I guess it boils down to like half a point, but you don't get that full point until you actually eliminate a unit. So here's our situation as we move on. I'm going to slide this up again, and so now we can see our entire map. I have placed the German units entering in turn 5 here on the left side, which would be the west side of the map. The Soviets have 3 Third Shock Army units here, 2 tank brigades, and an infantry division, or rifle division, I guess, as they would call it, here on the eastern edge. So we're just going to pick this up. The Russians go first every turn. So this is turn 5, which covers December 25th to January 2nd, so the week of Christmas to New Year's. So we will be going from 1942 into 1943 here. So let's take a look at our situation. So obviously, as I mentioned in part 1, and I don't want to recap too much, but the goal was really to capture Novosokolniki here, which is obviously at the western edge of the map, but also to take Velikiye Luki, which the Germans treated as a fortress. The Germans are in danger of having this their garrison here put out of supply, rather. They currently can keep supply open because they have multiple units in these 2 hexes, which negate the enemy zones of control in here and keep this rail line and that road open. If you want to look at it that way, it's just a hex. You have to trace a continuous line of hexes not broken by enemy zones of control over to the map edge on either side. So this one for the Germans, that one for the Russians. So now we will move on and begin play here. So first thing we'll do is try to look for places where we might want to move a unit up. So our stacking rules say that you cannot have a division or 2 divisions in a hex, but we do have a brigade here, and we do have a division in both of these hexes, but we can move the brigade into one of them. So that one has 9, and this one has 11, so we'll move our tanks here, making 12. So 12 and 11 will be 23 when they attack this unit of 8, and we'll get to that. Combat follows the movement phase. Oh, I forgot. The Soviets get a replacement step for their infantry, so they actually, and that is done first, and I almost forgot, but this guy gets flipped back to full power, full strength, and the Germans will get one as well. I don't think they have anybody right now that would need it, but we may end up with one, because this here is a motorized unit which cannot take a basic infantry replacement. So that is a problem for them. As you can see on here on our unit type, you can see the asterisk indicates units that can be maybe replaced with infantry replacement point. So it's security engineers, ski infantry, mountain infantry, and regular infantry. Mechanized and motorized are not on that list. All right, so moving on. There really isn't a whole lot of movement that we're probably going to do here. We will move this unit back up. I think that's really all they can do. Looking at the situation, there isn't really any movement because of all the zones of control. The Germans have established a nice line here to kind of slow the Russian advance. We do need to keep this open to maintain our supply to Velikiye Luki, which is worth 9 victory points to the Germans. Only 1 to the Russians, just as Novosoniki is worth 3 to the Germans and 2 to the Russians. So that will finish their regular movement. Now we'll move our reinforcements in. I think we want to probably use this from the 3rd Shock Army, use them to kind of push in the south. Seems like this is a little bit thinner than the north. We do have our 8th Panzer up here, as well as some forces. We have an SS unit as well. So this is a stronger area, I feel like. So we're going to have our 3rd Shock Army come up here. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then with the hill, it's wooded, so that would be 3. So that would be 7, and they'll have to stop there for this turn. And then we'll take this one, which is a division, so it can't stack with another division. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they only need 2 to move in here, so that'll be 6 for them. And then we have this last armor unit, which is a brigade. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And stage there. Now we'll do combat. So as I already mentioned, we're going to take this area here, which is 12, and 11 is 23. And we have a total of 8 on this side. Now they are attacking across the Lovat River here, which is a major river. It is the only major river on the map. It does add a 1 column shift to the left. The forested terrain that they're in, the wooded terrain, even though they're in the village of Borki, the terrain effect comes from the woods. We'll add a 2nd shift to the left. Here is our terrain effects chart. And you can see here you get a -1 to the left, and then another -1 to the left for the river hex side. So that is a 2 column shift to the left. Here's our CRT. So at 23 to, what did I say this was, 8? That would be 2 to 1, not 3 to 1. So a 2 column shift to the left is going to be 1 to 1 and 1 to 2. And this is a tough one for the attacker, because only a 5 or 6 will really do any damage to the Germans. But, the Soviets, they need to break through, so they're going to take a crack at this. And they get a 1, which is a terrible roll, and that is a 1-step loss on the attacker. So if we look at what we've got, see, this is a 1-step unit. That's a 1-step unit. That's a 1-step unit. So it's going to have to be one of the divisions, and we'll go with the regular rifle division as opposed to the Guards Rifle Division. That gains the Germans another victory point. So that was probably not the wisest move, but as I said, you have to kind of try from the Soviet standpoint. You have to push a little bit, because otherwise you're not gonna make enough progress. You're gonna run out of time. So we have 9 here, German strength, and for the Soviets we have 11. So that would be a 1 to 1, but there are no column shifts and no die roll modifiers because both are in open terrain. So we could also do a 1 to 1 right here, except this would get a column shift to the left, which would make it a 1 to 2, which we do not want to do. But we'll take a crack here as well at a 1 to 1 and get a 4. And a 4 on the 1 to 1 is an exchange. So again, this time it actually pays off a little bit because they'll have to take a step loss, and these are 1-step units. So they've eliminated a German unit. That gets them another victory point. Of course, they also take a loss, and again, they have a 1-step unit, so they'll take a loss to their infantry division, which makes that a 7. So it actually stays basically a 1 to 1 because that's a 7 to 6 now. Moving up, do we want to take a shot at attacking Velikiye Luki? We've done this once before. We have a reduced unit here to show for it. So we have 3, 6, 13, 15, 21, 24, 29, 36 to 10, which is a 3-to-1. But we get 2 column shifts because of the fortification in the city. It's on the bottom. If we move this off, it's right there, -2. So we get a 2 column shift. So that 3-to-1 becomes 1-to-1. And you get a -1 die roll modifier, which means you need to roll a 6 to have a step loss. And that is what they are, or actually you could have a 6, 5, or 4 would get a step loss via an exchange. So let's go for it. They need to do something here. And they rolled a 6, so that is a great roll. And as you can see, you get a D1. Now a D1 would normally be a step loss, but because they have this fortification, the fortification absorbs that first step loss, and we replace it with a 1, and the units remain at the same strength. But now, when we have another attack that inflicts a step loss, it will affect the units because that second -1 column shift is just that. It's a column shift that remains the same throughout. So that completes that. Now we have the opportunity up here to do some attacking as well. So here we attacked last turn, and we have a 2, a 5, and a 4, which adds up to a 11, or an 11, I guess I should say. And they've got 4, 8, 10, and 12, 14, 20. So 20 to 10 is obviously 2-to-1. We are going to take a column shift. We can add this one and make it 27, but that's not going to make it a 3-to-1. Would it? 7, 9, 11, 17, 21, 25. No, 27. So it's going to be a 2-to-1 no matter what. And they will take a column shift, but they're not attacking across a river, so there would be no die roll modifier. So we'll take our 1-to-1 here and get a 1. And a 1 on a 1-to-1 is attacker 1. So they have lost another step up here somewhere. Now, they have only infantry step replacements coming. So if we can find an infantry division, such as this guy, we can take the step loss there, and then we can replace it and build it back up. Let me put them on top so I'll remember to do that. So we'll do this. So the Germans hold firm again, and they get a victory point. And that's the end of their attacks. They're not going to attack anybody else. They could attack here. They've got 4. They've got 6. That's 7 to 6. And 11 would be 18 to 6, which is 3-to-1. It become a 2-to-1 with a -1 die roll modifier. Sure, why not? Let's try it. What I meant to do. So it's a 4 and a 2-to-1. 4 -1 is an exchange. So with an exchange, both sides lose a step. Now these are all 1-step units. Oh no, they're not. No, they are not. So they'll take a step loss, and they will also have to take a step loss. We'll do like that. And now the Soviets' turn is over, and we go to the German turn. So the Germans also have an infantry point they can replace. However, they did not lose anybody. They didn't lose any steps where they could use it. So they don't have, if they don't have anybody, you don't keep it. It just does not happen. And yeah, like I said in part 1, I should use tweezers, but I'm terrible with tweezers, so I tend not to use them. So yeah, we'll just go to movement now. And I don't know that I'm going to move anybody except for my new units that are coming onto the map. So this one here is our artillery unit. Now, I mentioned this in part 1. There's a special rule for this unit, or an optional rule rather, and we are using the optional rules. That optional rule states that if this unit is adjacent to a hex that is being attacked and is not being attacked itself, it can apply its combat factor to that defense. So that's useful. So we will move this guy to an area where we think they're going to be making attacks. The interesting thing is where to do that, where they would be relatively safe from attacks themselves. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this will be able to apply its 4 combat strength to attacks on either of these 2 stacks. So that seems like that's worthwhile. Now we have the 18th Regiment. Yep, 18th Regiment of the 18th Panzer. So we will use this guy, and I'm going to actually, let's see, where do we want to put him? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Now we have the option to do some attacking here, so we might as well. We have 8 there. With that would be 14, but we'd be attacking across the river, which probably isn't worth doing. However, we could attack with this Luftwaffe unit here, attack that guy who's in open terrain, no shifts, 1-to-1, straight up, somewhat risky, 50-50 chance, basically, of losing somebody. So let's do it. It'd be helpful if I could get the dice in the tower. Rolling high is always good. A 5 on a 1-to-1 is a D1, so they lose a step. So this guy is going to get reduced. That's going to earn us a victory point. And now what else do we have? These guys have 7 and we have 9. So we could do a 1-to-1 attack here as well. Now, I don't typically like most war gamers, you don't like 1-to-1 attacks. They're not particularly, the odds are not particularly in your favor, let's say. So we won't attack there. Here we have 3, 6, 12, 13, 15 to 7. So that's 2-to-1. And they are in open terrain. We will take a -1. So a 2-to-1 with a -1 DRM is worth the risk. And we get a 2 and a 2. In the 2-to-1, -1 is no effect. So I'd rather have no effect than an A1 or something there. So that was worthless. And then we have these guys up here, and I'm not going to attack with them. So that's going to end the German turn, and we'll go to turn 6 and just do a quick check here of the status so you can see it. So as you can see, we're now in turn 6. The Germans have 6 victory points, and we're only tracking victory points for units right now. We'll add in all the control stuff at the end of the game. The Soviets have 3. And you can see the eliminated units. 3 Germans, 1 Soviet have been eliminated so far. Turn 6, back to the Soviets. They get their last reinforcements. These are both 3rd Shock Army, so they would go down here in the 3rd Shock Army area. The Germans are getting a little bit more than they are. We've got the 331st, 2 regiments of that. 3 regiments from the 331st and 2 from the 205th. Okay, so the German units are basically all regiments. There is 1 division, and that's this Luftwaffe division, and 1 brigade, and that is the SS brigade. So it is the Soviet turn. They get 2 more units, and this is it. No more reinforcements for either side. We do have replacement points, however. Okay, so let's see. We can move this guy up. He can cross the river. Or not. He can go here as well because it's a brigade. So we have options. He could even go up here if he wanted to. Let's put him here. Yeah, we'll put him here, and I'm going to put him under this other counter. I have 2 potential replacement units here. 2 units that could potentially need one here and up here. So I'll have to decide which one I want to apply it to. And I needed to do that first because replacement happens first, and I almost forgot again. So we will actually put this guy to full power. Put him back, full strength rather. And okay, I can read the comments in my head already. Use tweezers, dopey. Okay, so we put that back to full strength, which improves our odds now. It's 8-6. The problem is these guys are on the wrong side of the river, so that doesn't help all that much. But it is a 1-1, and again, they're in the woods, so there's a column shift. Any other movement I want to do? I could move somebody from here, but do we want to weaken? You know what? We're going to. I'm going to move these 2 brigades, and we're going to go 1, and then they're both tracked, so they would go. That would cost them 3 + 1 for the river would be 4, but they both have an 8, so that's fine. So we're going to try and crack through in the north here. These 2 units have both taken some punishment. And if we can break through in the north, then we have a shot at taking Novoskolniki. Novoskolniki. Sorry, Novoskolniki. I keep pronouncing it incorrectly. And I can afford to do that because I can take my shock army units here, and I think I can get them up to that area without, or close to that area, yeah, it's still going to be tough, but we're going to do it anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, he could have launched from here. Let me try that. 1, 2, 3, 5, and stop there. Ultimately, we're going to try and get him here. Actually, no, you know what? He's a division. We'll put him here anyway. But he's a division, so he can't stack in any of these hexes here. He needs to go up further. And then we have a brigade that we're going to go. We'll launch him from up here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Now, attack-wise, we have 3, 5, 8, 10, 19 to 8. So that's still 2-1. Cross the river into the woods would make it a 1-2, so we probably do not want to do that because that's really just not good odds. We need to crack this one here. And again, it's going to be hard because of just the numbers don't add up. It's 8, 10, 19 to 6. It's 3-1, 2 column shifts, 1-1. So we're going to take a shot at a 1-1, I guess. And get a 3, and a 3 on a 1-1 is an exchange 1, which means both sides lose a step and the defender has to retreat. So that actually worked for them this time. So they lose a step and have to retreat. They also lose a step. And this is tough. We're going to reduce this guy again. Sorry, my friend. But he's going to get reduced, and I'm going to jump the river with these guys to remove the negative of the river crossing. There. So this is a brigade and a division. And I think I'll take this other brigade and move that up as well and let the division sit by itself. So that worked. That was a good thing. Now up here we have a 7. And that's a 6, so that would be 1-1. And again, there's no column shifts, so why not? We got a 3. A 3 on a 1-1 is an EX1 again. So again, they're going to lose a step, and these are 1-step units, so that's an eliminated unit. They get a victory point, and he has to retreat. We'll retreat him here into the wooded hill, so that's going to give him a 2 column shift. And these guys can advance. He was here, I believe. So we'll move them both up. We have 3, 6, 13, 15, 17, 23, 30 to 10 with a 1 column shift now. So, actually, no, you know what? I screwed that up. I'm looking at the terrain effects chart, and it says town, Velikiye Luki, and Novoskolniki, one column shift plus fortification, so only applies to German units. So that should have been a 3-column shift last turn, which would have made that 1 step loss into an exchange. So I'm going to reduce one of these units to fix that, to make that even up. And that changes the math, because now it's 9, 11, 13, 19, 26 to 10. So it's 2 to 1, and it's still a 2-column shift, which makes it 1 to 2. And so again, they would need, and then there's a die roll modifier of -1 as well. So they're not going to attack there. What we need to do is break through in this area and get around behind it, cut off its supply, and then we'll have an easier time, because out of supply cuts half your combat strength. But right now they have supply because we have zone of control, basically contested zone of control through this hex. Definitely through this hex, possibly through this one as well. At least I think so. Unless I'm misunderstanding the rules. So let's see if we can do something up here, and we'll see our artillery in action. So we've got 3, 8, 15, 18, 22, 26, 32. 32 to 2, 7, 11, 15. So it's 2 to 1 with a 1-column shift. So that's a 1 to 1. So let's see what we get. We get a 2. And a 2 on a 1 to 1 is no effect. So that did not work out for them. And that's all they can do. So we'll flip this guy to the German side, and we'll do the Germans' turn here in turn 6. We have 3 units here already. Okay, let's do this. Let's move this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. We need to bolster the south. I don't want to do this, but we'll move him 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to use our reinforcements and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll take these 3. They're all regiments, so we can stack them 3 high. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. We're all in now. We're all in. Everybody's on the map, and we're all in on an attack here. So we've got 4 plus 3. Oh, I do have an infantry, so I'm going to fix up my Luftwaffe unit, flip them back to full strength. I always forget my replacements, so that's 10, 13, 16, 19 to 7. So that is a 2 to 1. We do take a -1 DRM for the attack across the minor river. So 2 to 1, -1. We get a 5 and a -1. That'll be a 4. Defender retreat. So the defender must retreat. So they have to retreat, and they have to retreat. They can't go here. So they have to go here, and because this is a division, he has to go even further and retreat there. I think this guy can stop, though. So he'll stop there. I think that's okay. Now we can advance if we want to. And I think I don't want to. So we will not advance there. Now we can attack here as well. We have 3, 7, 11, 14, 17, 23. They have 7. So that would be 3 to 1. There is a minor river. So 3 to 1 with a -1 DRM. And we get another 5 and a 3 to 1. 4 is defender retreat again. So these guys now have to retreat, and they have to go here. So they have to cross back to the other side of the river, and now we can choose to advance if we wish to. We're on a hill, but I'm going to advance anyway. So we're going to advance there. And now do I want to attack this stack? These guys are 3, 8, 15. That's a lot. And we have 3, 5, 6, 8, 13, 17. So that's like basically a 1-to-1. And we're going to hold. We're going to hold. So that is the end of turn 6. I'm going to advance my turn counter. We got turn 7. This is the last replacements. So the Soviets have an infantry replacement. We do have a unit up here that needs one. So we also have one down here. We're going to, well, I think we'll flip this guy. We'll flip this guy back because he's a guards unit. Better combat strength. So that's the replacement. We do not have any reinforcements. We can, now are these, nope, that's a division. We need to find a stack without a division in it. That one doesn't have one, but there's 3 of them there. We can advance these guys, though, so we should do that. Let's take these 2 and move them here. Then we'll take these 2. We'll move him here, and we'll move this guy across the river there. And they get stopped because ideally they could get here, but they can't. Even with the rule, we have a stack there, and if it was a single regiment here, he would be able to employ the Ezok to Ezok rule because of it only being a regiment. I suppose the concept being that a regiment covering a lot of frontage can't really keep the enemy from moving as easily. So I'm assuming that's what that is. And anyway, that's the rule. Everybody else already has a division, so I'm going to move this guy across the river anyway. Actually, let's move him here. We'll move him there. And now we'll do some attacking. So we have 3, 5, 8, 16, 18, 29 to 8. That is 3-to-1. We do take a 2-column shift because of the river, and a -1 because of that river. So not great. 1-to-1 with a -1 DRM. And they get a 6, so that's going to be a good one. That is a D1, so that is a step loss. And the mountain unit will take the step loss. And I'm going to put them on top because we can use our infantry replacement point to actually return him to full strength. And let's see. Now up here, there's 6 there. They've got 7, 10, 13. So that's not even 2-to-1, but he's in open terrain. So we'll take a shot at it. There's no river or anything. It's a 3. A 3 on a 1-to-1 is an EX1. So that's an exchange, and the defender has to retreat. So he can't go here, so he has to go here or here. We'll put him there, and he has to lose a step, which means a unit is eliminated. That's another victory point for the Soviets. It's now 6-5. And somebody can advance. We'll advance to 7, because now we can apply that to that one. Next turn. Okay, back over here now, we have 6, 9, 12, 14, 16. I forgot to move that guy. 22, 29 to 10. 29 to 10 is still 2-to-1, and we're going to take a 2-column shift for 1-to-2. I think we'll hold off. We need to move somebody out of here so we can get another angle on these guys. So if we take the 7, the plus 7 is 14, plus 3, 8, 15 more. So 15, 19, 22, 29 to 12. Is it 2-to-1 across the river? Is going to be a column shift. So it's 1-to-1 and a DRM of -1. And a 4 becomes a 3. And again, it is an EX1. So we will reduce our panzer, and they have to retreat. So they will retreat to this hill. And let's move the guard unit up and the tank brigade. That opens a hole that we can slide that guy into on our next turn. And that's a full strength division. And what else do we want? We can try these two against that one. We have 3, 5, 9, 3, 5, 7, 11, 15, 17 to 2. That's 7. 7 and 8 more would be fit. Yeah, that's not worth it because of the artillery there. So that is not worth it. So the Soviets are done with their attacking, I suppose, and we'll move to the German turn here in turn 7. Swap our die out. And let's see what movement we want to do. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of movement necessarily. We do have a budding issue, however. We have a definite budding issue. So perhaps we should do some kind of movement here. Now these guys are on a hill. I'm going to take one of these units, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Yeah, we can't do that. We can do 1, 2, 3, 4. That would actually work. So we're going to go from here. 1. Now we're on the road. Oh, that's 1.5 when you do that. I've been doing that wrong the whole game. When you move in clear terrain without a road or not on a road, it's 1.5. So that would be 1.5, and then 2.5, 3.5, 5.5. That's not going to get me where I want to be. So we're going to have to do 1.5, 3, and then to move into the woods, which I can't do because we're in an EZOC right now. So we're kind of stuck here. So it's going to be what I didn't want it to be, because now he has a 2-to-1 on anybody in that area. He won't attack the hill because the hill is obviously going to be an issue. So we would have 9 to 6 here, unless I move somebody else in, which I could. I do have this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would give me 4 more, so that would be 13. That's still not a 2-to-1, but I could move that one in as well and get a 2-to-1. This is a tough decision here. You know what? We're gonna roll. Well, you know what? The hell with it. We need to. This is a big threat right here, because he's got an open road to Novoskolniki here if he breaks through this line. Because these are individual regiments, so you can do the EZOC to EZOC movement. It'll expend all his movement points, but he can get here, and then from here, he's right there. He's real close to Novoskolniki. Plus, that could cause some supply issues as well, I think. Although we do have down here, so maybe not. But I'm going to take this guy, and we're going to go 1, 2... and then up here to the hill to make that a 5. And then we're going to take our artillery and we're on a road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have 3 and 7 is 10 and 5 is 15 to 7. That is a 2-to-1. There is no die roll modifier. He's in open terrain. And we got a 3. And a 3 on a 2-to-1 is an exchange. So he's going to lose a step, and we're going to lose a unit. Now, which unit do we want to lose here? We could take the hit on our artillery, but I don't want to. I don't want to, but I guess I have to. That was the risk I ran by doing this. Yeah, so. All right, so that weakened him enough, though, that... oh, and I forgot to use my replacement point, so I'm going to put that on this mountain unit, because that was my original plan. And what else do we want to do here? I can attack this guy, I guess, because we still have 9 here, right? No, we have 11 there, 14, and 2 is 16, and he's got 11. And we've got 19, 20, 22. That's exactly 2 to 1 with a -1 DRM. Oh, that's rough. A 2 to 1 0 is an A1. That's going to be a problem. We're going to have to eliminate somebody. Oh boy. We'll take our security unit. I don't know. Maybe that's our weakest unit. I'm going to get rid of the SS unit, I guess. I don't want to. But because now we are both tied at 6 victory points. But with the, you know, it is what it is. I can't rebuild them because he's motorized, so we'll take, and we're out of replacement points anyway. So now we're going to go on to turn 8, Soviet turn 8, January 21st to the 29th. We do not have any more reinforcements or replacements. It's just a battle of attrition at this point. Whoever can put enough power at the Schwerpunkt to make a dent here. We have 8, 11, 13, 16, 18, 29. Oh, I do want to move this guy here, which he can do because that's 2 and that's 4. Because wooded is 2 for infantry. Okay, so as I was saying, we have 3, 5, 8, 16, 18, 29 to 8 with a 2-column shift. So 29 to 8 is 3 to 1. 2-column shift makes it 1 to 1. And there's also a DRM of -1. And they roll a 5. And a 5 is again going to be an exchange at 1 to 1. Less than ideal. So we will again reduce our mountain troops, and then they have to take a hit as well. It really does not matter, I guess. We'll take this 2-6 here because I don't want to reduce my guard divisions. I'll rather do that. The Germans get a victory point. So let's go here now. We have 3, 6, 9, and this is a 5 on a hill with a 2-column shift. That's going to be a 1 to 3. So they won't be doing that. How about here? 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 18, 25 to 10. 25 to 10 is 2 to 1 with a 2-column shift. It's 1 to 2. And a -1 DRM. And it's a 3 with a 2, becomes a 2 in the 1 to 2 column. That's an A1, so they're going to lose a step again. We'll take it from the division here. That's another victory point for the Germans. We're trying to knock this out because it doesn't appear that we're going to have enough firepower to actually surround it at this point. We are in turn 8. We have 2 turns left. It's not looking like the Soviets are going to be able to pull this out. We can try again to knock this one out of whack. So we have 4, 8, 10, and then 13, 15, 17, 20, 25, 32, and they have 2. 5 is 6, 7 rather, and 4 is 11. So 11, what did I count? I forgot what I counted up. 11 for the Germans, 3, 8, 15, 18, 20, 22, 26, 32. 32 to 11 is only 2 to 1. We do get a column shift for the wooded, so that's 1 to 1. They roll a 4. 4 on a 1 to 1 is an exchange. So they keep rolling exchanges. And I guess they can afford to because they actually have more manpower than the Germans do. We're going to take one of these 2 units, I guess. We'll take the ski unit. Another victory point for the Germans. They're going to gain a point, though, because this guy is going to be eliminated. Or do I want to... That's a 1. We don't want to do that. So we will eliminate this one. They get a victory point. And that is it for their turn. German turn here in turn 8. As far as movement, I don't really see a whole lot of movement that I want to do. Now we've got 2, 5, 9, 15, and this is 2, 4. That'd be 1 to 1 with a column shift and a river, so that's a no-go. We have 10, 12, 15, and that's 15 to 6, so that's pretty good. It's a 2 to 1 with a -1 DRM, so we'll take that. A 2 to 1 with a -1 DRM. We rolled a 6. We rolled a 6. Let me slide that in a little bit further so you can see it. We rolled a 6, and a 6 on a 2 to 1 with a -1 is a 5. That is defender retreat. They have to retreat out of so they can go here or here. Does not matter. We'll take them there. Now the Germans can advance, but they're not going to. That is not a victory point hex, and it is open, and it would just be asking for the Russians to blow us up. So that was worthwhile. Now we have 3, 4, 7. So this would also be a 2 to 1, and there's no DRM, so we're going to attack this guy and get a 2, and a 2 on a 2 to 1 is D1. There is only one step here, so he's eliminated. That is another victory point for the Germans. And do we want to advance? I don't think we do, because we've got a nice little killing zone in here if they want to walk right into it with these 3 here. So now let's look at this unit here. We've got a 4 and a 7 is 11. We've got 3, 7, 11, 14, 17, 18, 20. 20 to 11 is still only 1 to 1. And we will get a -1 on the die roll, so we won't do it. And yeah, and that's it. We're not going to do anything else. So we're going to go to turn 9. Turn 9 here. Just a quick check here at the top, see what we got. So you can see on our turn track, we're at turn 9, January 30th to February 7th. Dead unit boxes, etc. Germans have 10 victory points. The Soviets have 7. The Germans also are still holding Velikiye Luki and Novoskolniki, so they're probably winning at this point. They're definitely winning at this point, unless the Soviets can make hay here in these last 2 turns. So let's see what we've got going on here. Turn number 9. 14, 16, 18, 27 to 5. That is a 5 to 1. So we've got really good odds now. We do get a column shift for the river and a column shift for the woods. That makes it a 3 to 1 with a -1 die roll modifier. And a 3 in the 3 to 1 becomes a 2. EX1, they do have to retreat. They also lose a step. So this guy will go away. They get a victory point, and he has to retreat. Yeah, we'll retreat to there. Now they can advance. We'll move the division and 1 brigade up. You know what? I just attacked without even thinking about moving because we wanted to move these guys up probably. So I'm doing this out of order. I know this isn't right, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to go 1, 2. And I know this is kind of dumb, but we're going to see if we can knock out this here, which is a 4. And we are a 6. So it's 1 to 1. There's no modifiers. And it's a 3. And a 3 on a 1 to 1 is an EX1. So that works. We're going to lose the artillery. They have to retreat. And they get to lose 1 unit as well. So we'll take care. We'll take that one out. They get 1. They get 1. And they move up. So our lower area is losing some steam here. I see a potential move for next turn, though. But the chances of them getting to Novoskolniki are pretty much 0 right now. And I don't think they're going to get into Velikiye Luki, although we're going to take a crack at it. We've got 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 22, 25, still 2 to 1. We do have a 2-column shift. Makes it 1 to 2 with a -1. I'm doing it anyway. We rolled a 3. And that is an A1. So we'll just lose one of these weaker units. I'll take that one out. They get a point. I don't think this, yeah, that's a 1-step unit. Got to try. It's desperation time now. So we have 11 here. 11 there. Then we have 14, 19, 26, and they have 6. So that's 4 to 1. We get a 1-column shift to make it 3 to 1 and a -1 DR. So 3 to 1 becomes a, it was 4 to 1, right? Yes, it was 4 to 1. So that becomes a 3 to 1. We rolled a 4, which becomes a 3. That is defender retreat. So we will retreat to Lubevo here. And then they can advance. We'll advance. Guard division. And we'll advance that guy as well. Okay. Now up here we have a total of 9 for the Germans. They have 5, 9, 13, 15. So that's 3 to 1. It'll get column shifted to 1 to 1. And a 5 on a 1 to 1 is a D1. And these are 1-step units. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Well, that's a 5. So we'll keep that one and we'll reduce the other one to make that a 6 there. Okay. And that is the end of the Soviet turn. So we're in the German turn of turn 9, which is the penultimate turn here. We've got one more turn after this one. And the Germans can almost do nothing and probably be okay. Honestly, I'm almost tempted to not even play this final turn because we're coming up on an hour and the Soviets cannot win. What do I want to do? Well, let's see what we can do here. We're going to move this guy back up. And we're going to try to take out some of these Russians here. We've got 5, 8 to 3. So we'll do a 2 to 1 attack on this guy. Rolled a 3, and a 3 on a 2 to 1 is an exchange. Good God, man. So we're going to lose another unit, and they get another victory point. They also lose a unit. We gain a victory point. No advancement. I don't see the point, to be honest. Let's see. They've got a 3 there. We've got 11. 11 to 3 is 3 to 1. Cross the river into the woods would make it a 1 to 1. Probably not worth it. We will leave that be. Now here we have a 3, 4, 6. They have 11. Oof, this is rough. This is rough. Well, we could see if we can hit it with everything we've got. We've got 4, 6, 11, 12, 15 to 11 would be 1 to 1 with a shift. Yeah, we're not doing that either. We're going to ride it out and hope for the best here. We go to turn 10, final turn. Last chance for the Russians to do something here. So, now they could, but it's not going to do them any good. They could do the Ezok to Ezok move because this is a single regiment. So they could move their units here, and that would be it. They would be done. That doesn't get them to Opulik. Oof, that's a hard Russian name to say. Opukliki, right here, which is a victory point hex for the Soviets. They can't get to it because this guy right here blocks their way. So they can attack them, but then you can't do movement after attack. So they couldn't, even if they did eliminate him, they couldn't take this guy, say, and drive him up in there. So let's say 1, 2, 3, and then across the river would be 4, and 1.5 would be 5.5. So he can get there, which doesn't do them any good, but we might as well try and move up anyway. And we'll move this guy in here. Yeah, that wouldn't have done any good. I can't put another division in here, which is, yep, that's what I just tried to do, and I can't do that. So instead of that, we'll move him here, which doesn't really do much for us either. Like I said, I think the game is basically over. I don't know that they can capture anything that's going to change anything at all. This is not a victory point hex. All the victory point hexes are over here. So I'm actually just going to call it and say that this is a German victory. I'm not even going to count up the victory points, but if you look at our victory points here, right? So Velikiye Luki, that's in German hands, that's 9. Novoskolniki, also in German hands, that's 3 more, that's 12. Each of the single objective hexes, I'm pretty sure the Germans control all of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 more. That would be 17. I don't think the Russians are controlling any. And the Germans have 13 from unit elimination or step elimination. That's 30 victory points. The Soviets have 10. They can't get 20. There aren't that many victory hexes on the map. So I'm just going to call this a German victory. We did go to turn 10. I just don't see any path forward. It would just kind of be another round of combat without much going on. So I may have made mistakes. In fact, I would say it's probably likely that I did make mistakes. I apologize for that. Hopefully people will post comments and correct me where I screwed up, because I'm sure I did. I always do. The intentions were good. Let's put it that way. So I hope that at least you got a good sense of how the game plays in general. And you can see that this is actually a pretty good game, and it would be a great game with 2 people, where each guy has his own plan, his or her own plan, I should say. Each player has his or her own plan to determine how they want to attack this particular scenario, to see if you're the Russians, can you take Novosokolniki and Velikiye Luki and deny the Germans a victory? And if you're the Germans, can you hold on to the 2 main objectives and make the Russians pay a bloody price for their attempt to take them? So there you have it. Excellent game. Really enjoyed it. All the components are very nice. I did round the corners on the counters. But Legion does good stuff. Randy Line did the graphics. They are very nice, effective, and straightforward. Michael Taylor's design, very, very good. The rules are clear, concise, easy to understand. Very well done. I've got no complaints. This is a playthrough and not a review, but if I were doing a review of this game, I would say definitely a recommendation from me. So that's going to do it. As always, if you would like to help me out by liking, sharing, and or subscribing, that is always, of course, welcome. But even if not, hopefully you'll come back and check out future videos. But that is going to do it for now. I'm Joe. This has been the Hexed Encounter channel. And until next time, as always, happy gaming, my friends.